Hey everybody, my name is Drake Doss. Recently I purchased an LMT MARS-H 16-inch piston-driven AR-10 back in December 2025. I've had nothing but issues with this rifle, and I kind of wanted to share my experience with quality control and customer service today with everyone. You would think that when you put the amount of money that you do into an LMT rifle that you would get a very high bar for quality control and service, but that's not necessarily been my experience, so I'm curious to see what you guys think. After purchasing the rifle in December, naturally, I wanted to test a variety of different 308 and 7.62 loads and see which one performed the best in the rifle. Those are pictured here. All pretty good stuff, pretty good loads. Nothing like, steel cased ammo or anything that would be particularly hard on the gun or hard for, feeding through the rifle. Unfortunately, the first thing that I ran into at the range was feeding issues. Upon trying to, fire more than one round through the gun, I quickly started having failure to feed issues. And at first I thought maybe, this had something to do with the loads themselves, but as the number of loads started racking up that were just failing to feed through this rifle, I thought, okay, like it's pretty clear that the rifle has an issue. At the end of the day, 5 out of the 8 loads that I tried to test did not feed through the gun. You can see here the bolt carrier group appeared to be binding on the round, and as it was getting fed into the chamber, it just didn't want to go. So right around between the base of the round and then the neck is where the issue would happen. So I was texting all of my buddies in gun group chats, just people that I knew at the time, because I'm sitting here at the range wondering, what the hell did I do wrong? I, cleaned this firearm and lubricated it before I came to the range with, hop spore cleaner and number 9. Made sure that I didn't see any kind of obstructions anywhere. And everybody, we took a look at the BCG, we took a look at everything. They're like, we don't know. So maybe you should check the feed ramp when you get home. So upon looking at the feed ramp, this is what I saw. It doesn't really look well aligned. I would say the most notable aspect of this is the bottom left portion of the chamber where it meets the feed ramp. In the middle, you can see where the feed ramp in the chamber itself is kind of pressed up against where the actual lip of the feed chamber from the receiver is. And so it looks like that would be an obvious point of failure for rounds to catch on, but I actually could not find a particular pattern of, a round that's on the left side of the mag won't feed versus the right side. It was just, it didn't make any sense to me. Things just simply weren't feeding unless they were those 3 loads that did feed. My hypothesis there is that there was enough powder in those loads that it didn't really matter. The bolt carrier group and the overgas nature of LMT rifles simply made it so that the bolt was able to just force the round into the chamber for firing. Second picture of the chamber, you can see where it's pretty obvious that the receiver and chamber are misaligned. There's sort of this black tab between the receiver and the feeding ramp, and even to the left of that, there's a little bit of burring where the actual rounds themselves are kind of scraping up against the feeding ramp as they're getting fed into the bore. At this point, the issues seem pretty obvious, so I had emailed LMT. That's pictured here. Tried to make things about as obvious as I could. I laid out, here are the different loads, here are the results for those loads. I inspected the feed ramp. I think I discovered some misalignment. Their email back to me was obviously we had some correspondence getting things shipped and whatnot, but once they actually got back to me and had a chance to take a look at the upper receiver, the lead gunsmith says that the ramps are totally fine, that he took it and function tested on semi and full auto, was able to replicate the feeding issue with their function ammo, but after taking it back and oiling it, was able to run 40 rounds without any issue. And so the assumption was that the feeding issues were because the rifle was running dry. So I emailed them back. I was like, please take a second look, essentially. And then they emailed me back. Their lead gunsmith took a second look and said that the alignment is issue free. Alright, so at this point, I'm kind of left to just receive the rifle, and we're going to go ahead and test, the way that this thing functions again. And I really wanted to kind of get a visual demonstration for LMT and everybody else out there of what I'm seeing. So we're going to get to that in a minute. A couple of small notes before we head into the video. Multiple magazine types were tested with this rifle to check for, just potential magazine issues for feeding. The same magazine was also fed through my friend's AR-10, which I'll attach at the very end of the video. But yeah, we attempted multiple things with the LMT and just could not get it to work. Let me just put up a comparison between my friend's Palmetto State AR-10's feed ramps and then the feed ramp for my LMT AR. Yeah, so that is what it is. I'll go ahead and get to the video and let everybody make a judgment call for themselves.
Yep. All right, cool. Yeah, we got an LMT AR-10 piston-driven 16-inch here. Sent it off to their lead gunsmith. Said that the feeding ramp was just fine. That I must have not oiled the gun. I cleaned and oiled the gun before firing. I tested 8 different loads. Worked with about 3 of those loads, and today we've got the remainder of them right there. So we're going to load them up and see how things go. With my luck, it's going to feed perfect. But the way it was before, it only feed 1 round at a time. So first we'll start off with the IMI Systems 7.62, 175 grain, pretty basic stuff. Just a full metal jacket round. We'll load a few of these. This is the PMAG that it came with. It's just a normal 20 round LRSR. Load about 4. Right. Going hot. Cool. Failure to feed. This is the problem we were having before. What happens is it catches right down here on the base of the round. If you zoom in there, it catches right on the base of the round every time. All right, so we'll give it another try with a different type of ammo, since it could only make it to 3 that time. This is a Gold Dot Spear LE. This is a bonded round, so some of the feeding issues that you might see with the feed ramp that you might expect with some of these flat nose type rounds, it's another test to run it through. So maybe it won't make it to 3, maybe it will, we'll see. Move these bitches in. Thank you for your patience. That feeds. That's cool. Let's move on to something else. This is some Czechoslovakian 7.62. If I'm not mistaken, I don't got my countries right. I didn't pass history in high school. Let's load these. Here we go. One thing I do want to note is the Spear is also a 308 load, whereas the previous round that we tried, the IMI, is a 7.62, and so is this. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, we're moving. This will be the Federal Gold Medal Match Center Strike. .175 grain. This is a 308 load. Something else to note is when I initially tried this rifle, I tried it on bench rest, so it doesn't have as much of a recoil impulse coming back from the shoulder, if that's even such a thing. But it is when you fire a sidearm, so I imagine it is with a rifle too. Another failure to feed. Again, how many rounds should you have this type of issue with? This is a Federal gold medal match. It's got the same binding here on the casing. All right, now, one of the things that was suggested is that maybe I hadn't oiled this gun, right? Let's make that a non-issue. All right, ton of hops right there. We don't stop there, do we? Not in the field, at least. Squirt that bitch. My OnlyFans is free. Feels pretty smooth now. Another failure to feed. So what does it have to do with oil? That's what I want to know. We've got the same binding. You can probably barely see it right there. It's definitely less prevalent with more lubrication. We got one more round to go through, and that is this Ammo Incorporated right here. It's another bonded round. This is a 308 168 grain load. So it's pretty picky. Not exactly sure what's going on. Cool. All right. My buddy Trent has got, that's a Palmetto State, right?
Yes.
Yep. He's got his Palmetto State right there. All right, so let's see what like a, I don't know, what, like $1,500, $1,300 difference gets you. I did get the LMT on sale, so I guess that's on me, right? We're going to load with 2 of each round because he's got a 10-round mag here. So this is the gold dot going in first, the first 2 rounds. Second 2 rounds is the Ammo Incorporated bonded. Then we're going to break out the gold medal match. 2 of these. Alright. We'll do this uncut too. I'll just take the camera from you once I'm done here and we'll see you put those rounds down range. Here's the 175 7.62 IMI. And last but not least, the cellular and below. I believe this is the 175 7.62. All right. Safety first, kids. Yeah. Here you go, man. Perfect. Alrighty, let's see what she does.
Yep. That's how it goes.